أهلا وسهلا فيكم ببدوي كريبتو.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system.
بمؤتمر كوزموفيرس اللي حصل أخيرا بدبي عملت مقابلات مع عدة مشاريع مهمة. بفيديو اليوم رح أعرض لكم المقابلة اللي عملتها مع مشروع مانتا. بعد المقابلة رح أعطيكم رأيي بشكل عام بالمشروع والتطورات اللي عم تحصل فيه. قبل ما نبدأ اعملوا لايك سبسكرايب وخلينا نبلش.
Two, one, rolling. Hello, everyone. Today we have Kenny from Manta. How are you, Kenny?
I'm doing well. How are you, Badwi?
Nice to meet you. Kenny, you're the co-founder of Manta.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about, tell the community a little bit about Manta. What is it in a simple way, briefly?
Yeah, sure. So long story short, Manta, we are an Ethereum scaling solution. We're an Ethereum L2, you might have heard. And we are the actually largest modular L2. And what that really means is that it allows us to be very flexible and agile in delivering lots of new features for future proofing and for delivering continuous value to users.
Beautiful. Just going to jump right into it. Layer 2s, especially on Ethereum.
Yeah.
We've noticed lately there's a big issue that they're taking away from the layer 1.
Okay.
And that's not the best relationship. And within the layer 2s, we see a lot of competition as well.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference with Manta? How do we fix this problem?
Yeah, so I feel like that's a lot of questions
In
wrapped
the one.
into one. So I'll try to take this piece by piece. The first part about, L2s taking away from the L1s, I think goes back to Vitalik's proposal of the Ethereum trilemma when it comes to security, scalability, decentralization. And to date, right, there's no solution to that trilemma, except if you talk to a market, right? They'll tell you their solution's the best. But the reality is, like, you can't solve it with one chain. And so I think that Ethereum as a community has evolved into solving it through a conglomeration of the L1 and the L2, where the L2 focuses on the scalability and the L1 focuses on the decentralization and the security. And so I do think that's more harmonious rather than competitive. That being said, right, like what makes Manta so different, I think what I mentioned at the beginning in terms of modularity. And so long story short, what does modularity means? It means that instead of trying to build everything from the ground up yourself, right, imagine trying to build a plane. You're not building everything yourself. In fact, Boeing doesn't build everything from scratch either, right? Boeing buys chairs from third-party services, seatbelts from third-party services, engines from third-party services, and they just basically mishmash it together to deliver you, the final product, right? Like I don't want to compare Manta to Boeing in terms of quality control because I think like we're probably a little better for a track record these days, but Manta does essentially the same thing. A lot of other L2s, they focus on building everything from scratch. But what we see is that limits your ability to be flexible, to adapt to new technologies, to adapt to the changing demands of users. And so we take a modular approach. We take pieces of amazing technology, such as Celestia, in order to deliver value on day one to our users.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I know I jumped right into it directly.
Let's do it.
I've heard some recent partnerships you've done, like in Hong Kong especially. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. So one of our focuses always has been more so on productization and user growth rather than purely technology. I think that a lot of amazing talent in this space falls into the trap of purely focusing on technology, which essentially becomes research, right? But at the end of the day, what we're really trying to do is we're really trying to revolutionize open finance. And so in order to do that, you have to actually touch the end user. From our perspective, based on a lot of the demographics that we've studied, we realize that adoption levels are extremely high in Asia, particularly Southeast Asia, Hong Kong, Korea. And so as a result, right, we want to start building our presence in those locations very early on. And so you mentioned Hong Kong. We are in Hong Kong right now through Cyberport, which is their government-sponsored incubator program. And we use that to connect with all sorts of local businesses, local population, to figure out exactly what the use cases are in order to drive that real-world adoption. And we do that across the world.
Are you seeing some movement in like use case from normal people to through that?
I think so. Yeah. So there's a lot of experimentation going on right now with a few different categories. I think you can kind of put it all under the umbrella of like real world assets, right? When it comes to financial instruments, probably things that a local person themselves probably couldn't touch in the past. Now you have open access to it. We see a lot of experimentation with loyalty points. So mom and pop shops that are trying to drive businesses back into physical stores, looking for decentralized solutions for very fair points distribution. And then we're also looking at a lot of stable coins, as well as government agencies such as the subway system looking to integrate blockchain into payment rails for travelers.
Okay, that's really good. Earlier on, when we first started the question, I mentioned something. We have a lot of layer 2s as at the moment for Ethereum, as you know.
Yeah.
Previously, there used to be a couple of them. Now there's, I don't know, 50 probably.
Yeah.
The ones that stand out at the moment, I would say, is Base is standing out because of Coinbase relationship.
Yeah.
Is that affecting your development activity? Affecting anything like that?
It affects market share. There's only so many users in Web3. And I honestly, I don't think there are enough users in Web3 right now. And as a result, you see this cannibalization of market share because, as new L2s launch and new shiny things come out, right, you see this shift in, for example, liquidity. That being said, right, I think the broader question is, are there too many L2s, right? Like, are all these L2s really that useful? Yeah, and so I think in the short term, right, yes, there are, definitely. There's too much block space. There's not enough applications. There's not enough users. We see lots of forks of applications, yes. But I think in the long term, what this is really meant for is an age of experimentation. Right? Like we are taking, for example, at Manta, a modular approach. We do this whole modular thesis. We think that keeps us adaptive. We see other L2s focusing on different things. Some even provide their stack as a service. So Optimism, right? You can do OP stack. And then same with Arbitrum, right? And so like they're not just building their own L2, they're building an ecosystem of L2s, right? Everyone essentially has a very different approach to how they believe you can truly capture market share. And I think what the beauty of that is that it allows the users to figure out, okay, this works, this doesn't, I like this, I don't like that. And at the end of the day, whatever the finish line looks like, right? Like whoever is going to come out on the other side is hopefully something that users say, this is the best.
So in short, we're all now in the trial phase. We don't know who's gonna win. You have a different approach, which is the modular approach. You believe that's the best approach, just for the community to understand, and that's where you're working on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So just in simple, artificial intelligence. It's a big revolution happening now. Where does Manta stand on that?
Oh yeah, that's a really good question. So as an L2, I think our responsibility is to build tooling for applications, right? So make it easier for applications to deploy and provide whatever features they want. And so we do actually have a tool set specifically for artificial intelligence. And so if you are building AI applications, we have our Manta AI tool set to make it easy to develop and deploy and scale users on our L2. So that's where we stand officially, right? Yeah. I have a... Actually, yeah, it's fine.
No, please.
Oh, no. I think AI is still in a very experimentation phase in the
especially in crypto, to be honest.
Yes, exactly.
In general, for it's still an experiment. I noticed there's a lot of projects they promise to deliver the world still, but there's no action yet in the artificial intelligence in the crypto world as of yet, short of meme coins and stuff like that. We're talking real use case of artificial intelligence. And that's where, like, what's next? We need to have a proper use case. Otherwise, it's going to fade out.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's, All right. I'm not going to keep you much longer. I know you're short on time. So I'm going to ask you a couple more questions.
Sure.
Does Manta consider any support for the Arabic community?
Yeah, it's funny that you asked that because we were just discussing that a little bit earlier. And so we are definitely open to exploring more and more in various different communities, including the Arabic community, right? Like while we haven't formally established anything, we're always very responsive when community members come to us and propose these types of outreach. And so really happy to have met you and, would love to see if there's any opportunities.
100%. I would love to have that chat. Honestly, I think Dubai is becoming a hub, a crypto hub of the world.
Definitely.
And the Arab community is very involved. It's 450 million Arabic speakers worldwide. I think projects should start communicating with them, and that's why I approached you.
Let's do it.
Any final words for the community?
Two things. If you are a builder, right, we love supporting applications on Manta. We offer grants, obviously, just like everyone else does. But beyond that, we offer a lot of support in terms of connecting you to investors, connecting you to the end user, helping you scale, helping you market, helping you grow. And then for people in the community who want to get more hands-on, right, whether it's leading Arabic communities, whether it's hosting events or joining the core team, we're always looking for amazing talent. So if you're interested, reach out to me on Twitter, Super Anonymous K, just all one word.
You go from there. Thanks.
Cool.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you very much for your time as well.
And we'll definitely talk about the Arabic community.
Sounds good.
مشروع مانتا هو طبقة ثانية للإيثيريوم Layer 2. الطبقات الثانية بتستخدم تقنيات مختلفة ليحلوا معضلة الإيثيريوم من ناحية الأمان، التكلفة وسرعة المعاملات. مانتا استخدمت تقنية الموديولاريتي، هي أكبر موديولر Layer 2. بيستخدموا عدة مشاريع تانية لحتى يأمنوا الأمان والسرعة والسكيلابيليتي للإيثيريوم خلال مثل سيليستيا، مثل بوليغون، ZK EVM، OP Stack، بوكادوت وغيرهم. هالأمر إيجابي لأنه بيسمح لهم يكونوا interoperable، بيقدروا يشتغلوا مع بعضهم بنفس الوقت. هذا أمر إيجابي، وفي كتير مؤسسات عم بيهمها هالأمر، وشفناه وقت كنت عم بتحدث أنا وكاني حكينا عن مؤسسات بهونغ كونغ بلشت تستخدم مانتا بسبب الموديولاريتي الابروتش اللي عندهم إياها أو الطريقة أو التقنية اللي عم يستخدموها، وهذا أمر إيجابي. من ناحية العملة، إذا بتطلعوا العملة مدرجة على عدة منصات مركزية مهمة مثل باينانس، بايبت، بيتجات، كوكوين، جيت، ميكسي، بينج اكس، يعني أهم المنصات تقريبا دارجتها. التوكونومكس تبع العملة 383 مليون عملة بالتداول من أصل مليار عملة، يعني رح يكون عليها تضخم بالمستقبل. إذا بتطلعوا على التضخم لنشوف كمية التضخم بيبدأ ب 18/1/2025 بنسبة 1.3% رح يتضخم كل شهر أو بقيمة 8 مليون دولار 9 مليون دولار تقريبا. هلا هالكمية قليلة نسبيا، مش لازم تأثر إذا نحن بسوق صاعد وفي سيولة بالسوق، ما لازم تأثر بشكل كتير كبير على السوق. ولكن إذا نحن بسوق ما في سيولة أو السوق كان بلش يهبط، هذا رح يعمل ضغط سعري وما رح يخلي السعر يكون أداؤه جيد. هيدا بشكل عام. التوكونومكس منا كتير عاطلة، في تضخم ولكن التضخم نسبته قليلة. هلا بتقولوا لي هل أنا بولش على المشروع بشكل عام؟ لك مشروع التقنية اللي عم يستخدمها تقنية جيدة والابروتش مختلفة عن غير طبقات ثانية، ولكن بشكل عام الطبقات الثانية صار في أعداد كتير كبيرة منهم وعم بينافسوا بعضهم. أولهم بيس يلي هي عم تاكل حصة الأسد من اللاير 2 على الإيثيريوم. هالأمر أنا برأيي عم بيخلي السيولة تمتد على كل هالطبقات الثانية وما رح يكون أداءها بقوة غير مشاريع. هذا رأيي الشخصي. رح يجي يوم للطبقات الثانية بعد الإيثيريوم ورح يعملوا حركة إيجابية ورح يعلى سعرهم مع كل السوق وقت نبلش بالبول ماركت للعملات البديلة، ولكن أدائهم برأيي الشخصي رح يكون أقل من باقي المشاريع. هيدي هي الفكرة بس عن الطبقات الثانية اللي عندي إياها أنا. هلا صرتوا تعرفوا عن مانتا وعن آخر التطورات فيها. عم بحكي مع كاني عن احتمال نعمل مجتمعات تدعم اللي بيتكلموا بالعربي. إذا بهمكم الأمر تساعدونا اكتبوا لي بالتعليقات بالله، وأنا بشوفكم قريبا إذا الله راد فيديو جديد وماركت أبديت جديد. Thank you.